All right. Hello, everyone. Once again, let me, as usual, send a message in my Discord. Let me make sure that everything is working fine. And we will get started straight away. So just give me one more minute. All right. Live now. Okay. And right here, market makers. Ooh. Okay, it seems like everything is working. For some reason, there we go. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so as usual, let's cover Bitcoin. Very interesting what happened yesterday. Let's do a little review. We have about 14 minutes before market open, so we have time. By the way, the only trade I'm looking for is what I already gave below 80,000. So yesterday, what we had, let me get rid of some of this shit. There we go, right here. What I was looking at was a simple SFP of the 85.9. As I said already, I did miss my short trade. I'm only holding a short trade from higher right here, as you can see. Now this trade is almost at $7,000 in profit, which is great. And I had been saying for a while that I was absolutely not closing the short trade. There was no reason to close it. So yeah, this trade is still running. And then yesterday, after missing another short trade, so we attempted that short trade here, got stopped out. There was then an SFP right here of this high. I missed that. It was, honestly, looking back, it was totally a valid trigger for a short. I should have taken that. There was also an FDV setup. For those who don't know, it's basically when there's a daily open outside the previous day value area high. Once we get acceptance back, we start targeting the previous day value area low, which was around 87,000. So to be honest, I should have taken that short trade. But anyways, not an issue. There's opportunities every single day. I already had some shorts open from the top. I had a short trade on Pippin, so it doesn't matter. Let me just clean this up real quick. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. So what happened? After having that short trade run, I was waiting for a reaction down here. Guess what? The reaction was never there. So yes, I did give a potential long trade, but I even walked the whole Discord through this and I said, okay, no bullish reaction. The order flow was not looking good. And I said, there's no long to take. And I even said, after losing this low, what I would have expected was for these two lows to be taken and finally to go and take the lows at 80,000. And to be honest, that is exactly what happened. We lost this level. What else was I looking at? I was looking at a daily level. Yeah. So there was a daily level right here. I was looking at this right there. And we lost that daily level as well. If we would have had a reclaim of the daily and a reclaim of the low that I was looking at, so back above here, I would have taken that long trade. But as you can see, there was never any signs of strength. No change in market structure, which, by the way, we still don't have here. So yeah, no change in market structure here. You can clearly see a perfect back test of this daily level right there. That was your sign to literally just either opening. I saw someone opening a short trade here, which was totally valid off of that back test of the daily, considering the weakness that we had. And then, yeah, we pretty much went very, very close to that low, to the overall low at 80,500. It's about 0.4% away from that. And yeah, so it was very simple to remain short and not take any longs. So once again, there is nothing to long here, no opportunities. Even if we start getting that 30-minute market structure shift right here, I still don't think that we are gonna front run these lows right here, right? The overall lows for $300. This would be very, very unlikely. So even if we have that pump, I would take that as an opportunity to take another short. Maybe we can look, for example, at an anchor VWAP right here. We can look at the volume profile from the downtrend. and you know, we can try to take a trade there, whether it's off of an SFP of this high or whatever it is. But I would say any pump that comes is an opportunity to take this lower to then go and fill that 80,500. So I hope that is clear. There's no longs, at least for me, to look at right now. Yeah, because I really don't think it's likely that we put in that low. Also because this was overnight, if I'm not wrong. Let's look at the CME pair. Right there. Yeah, so as you can see, very poor lows right there. Overnight, I really don't see any reason why we shouldn't just keep going. And if I had to look for a short, I would say it's either going to be here, so kind of like a speculative range high right there. Single prints, value area low right there. And then we might have that nice setup. We might have that short, maybe even a little bit higher to fill these single prints as well on that point of control. But I would say at that point, we might go take these highs, and at that point, we might look for that value area high. So here it's a bit tough. We do need to go step by step and see each reaction and how weak Bitcoin is. But I would say we have one opportunity right here. Let me make this very clear. And here I'm talking more of an intraday perspective, because of course we already have our trade from higher. So scalp short number one. This is not to take. This is just levels to monitor and see what type of reactions we get. That would be one. This would be two. And final box is going to be, I would say here. There's no need to go back above here. This high is really good. That was another thing. Actually, that's not too good. Was this? Oh, yeah, actually, this was very good. Yeah, honestly, looking back, I should have really taken this. We have a clear SFP of the overnight highs. This is a really good profile. I should have totally taken that. But it's fine. I would have made some nice money off of this, to be honest, probably around 5 to 10K. Anyways, so these are going to be the two areas of interest, I would say, for now, also considering these highs here. But honestly, I would prefer to just keep, to take these highs right there and to not revisit above here. Even though, once again, here on this profile, the high is not good. So we might go and recover these highs as well. And that would still give us a lower high right there, right? So something like that would still be valid. And yeah, I'm quite confident that we're going to go and take these lows again. So any pump, don't get too excited, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to last much. And yeah, we have market open in 7 minutes. So let's go back to our main chart. So that's going to be also coming into this anchor VWAP. This daily has already been back tested, so I don't see why we would need to go and see it again. But yeah, on this chart is going to be box one. Hopefully this anchor VWAP catches up, right? It's going to be something like that. And I guess we can monitor here. That's going to be our box two, again, on that point of control, on that profile that we just saw. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like you could even, no, honestly, I'm fine with that. I don't need this. Where would our bias change? Very far away, but if for some reason this is the low, which once again I really doubt it, I would say I'm going to change my perspective on this if we get back above 86, but I would still be looking for a short trade, to be honest, to eventually come and take these lows. So any pump, even if it's higher, that is a bigger opportunity to go short. And I think, for example, what might happen is to try and reclaim that 86. That would give us a nice higher time frame market structure shift, where I think maybe some people will get bullish, and that, for example, the back test of this value area low that we lost is going to be that short trade. So that short trade might come above here, right around 86. Maybe by that time, the anchor VWAP, which was never touched from the high that we put in at 98, will have come down perfectly to line up with that. We can see if we have some other levels. would be a back test of this daily. This one's tapped. Okay, let me move this levels a little bit down since they're being touched now. Yeah, so I would say that's pretty much the plan on Bitcoin. Pippin, I am still short. As you can see, I took some profits. Not much to do. This trade is now over $800 in profit. The account is printing. And yeah, to be honest, really not that much to do. I am looking, I did give a new a new long trade on Pippin. I was looking at this earlier today. We still have 4 minutes for market open, so let me quickly delete this. I hope everything is clear, by the way. Let's go on Pippin. I do think, I was looking at this as an option, by the way, for a fake out, but, right, because we had that nice reaction here, but we never got the higher time frame market structure shift, so this trade never activated. And look at the 4 hours, looking very bearish below this low. And what I was looking at is basically this higher time frame perspective, where we have wave 1, wave 2. That wave 3 is now valid as it is longer than wave 1, and that we can see with the 1-to-1 being above. And also look at that perfect respect on that 1-to-1 level on the daily time frame. No closes above this level. Wicks going through, but no closes. So that to me confirms that this is a wave 3. Now we do have an ABC correction, which I think can come down to that 1-to-1 once again to the lower side. And that's going to be around 0.16 to 0.13. So I do think that if this is a correct count with a 1, 2, 3, 4 for that low on an ABC correction, I do think that we can look for that last final wave. I don't think it's going to go to $2, but I do think we can have perhaps that move back above 77 cents. So maybe $1, let's say. Let's maintain a little bit more conservative. I do think we can have that nice setup to put in that wave 4 on that C. Because this is an ABC. I mean, was that an SFP? Yeah. It's a bit flat, but I think it's fine. Yeah, so I do think we have an interesting trade coming up. If we get a nice reaction, we have that point of control, we have the daily level, we have the anchor VWAP from the absolute low coming up. So yeah, I really do think this can be a very, very, very nice trade after shorting here, longing here, shorting here again. If we can get this trade as well, that would be nice. Now, of course, we're not going to maintain our target up here. It's not like we won't take any profits. We will be taking profits along the way. As usual, you know, if we get that nice bounce, we can look at this more local range right here. See if we get back into here. If we start getting, you know, those reclaims, then I will be more sure that this is going to play out. But I will still be taking, I can get rid of this now. I will still be taking profits along the way. So that will be, for example, an anchor VWAP coming down, lining up with this value area high, value area low. It's going to be some other levels, etc., etc. I hope that is clear. But for now, once again, no reason to take this, to close this. I mean, I barely have any value left in this. It's $300 of position, but, you know, just still looks good on that, on this. So yeah, I mean, trade is pretty much closed. I've closed 75% of the trade. But I'm going to let this run because, I mean, it might make me another 100, 150, which is still okay for the challenge account. So yeah, I would say pretty awesome. Honestly, I don't have a lot more to update. I will wait for market open. This is a pretty quick live stream because honestly, market is quite boring in the sense that we don't have many setups coming up. As I said, we can look for that for this. So we have 2 ranges, I think. That will be the more local range that we have to monitor to take the highs during New York, recover this poor high, get that kind of SFP and trade this back down. And then here I think is where it can be interesting, where we have 2 different types of setup. And those setups are, let me put this a little bit better. is going to be either a very, very simple SFP, which you should all know how to trade by now. So that's going to be a simple SFP of these highs here, sorry, these lows, and of this as well, technically, right? So if we can SFP both, that would be nice. That way we have a double confluence because we have the range. Let's assume this is the range. If we can get something like an SFP of both, where the candle closes both above here and above here, then we have a very simple trade like that to trade this back higher, because we might have actually put in the low now. We also do have to monitor order flow, of course. We got to see how many shorts are getting stuck right here, etc., etc. Market is now open, by the way. After, I want to show you gold as well, because gold had a massive dump from yesterday, 6% in a day. And also NEO is staying above here for now, it seems, which is nice. Yeah, so let's hopefully get that back test here. I was talking about this yesterday. Let's get that back test and hopefully move up to around 5.3. What was I looking at? Yeah, Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm gonna set an alert up here, and I'm gonna set an alert down here, which I already have, and at these lows as well. But yeah, so hopefully we get something like that. That's gonna be a simple SFP to move back higher, right? And then you have another setup, which is gonna be a failed auction, which, to be honest, I would prefer, and I think it would get a lot of people bearish. And it's gonna be a little bit more of a retracement, so a little bit more of max pain. And that's gonna come around 77. I would love for this to make its way down, completely lose that low, right? So a lot of people are gonna try to long this. Maybe we get some more long stuck here, but then the actual shorts come once we lose this this low. So here is gonna be short, 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 and this, where we have this support between 79 to 77, that is where we're gonna look for a long. So of course we're gonna wait for strength. We're gonna wait for a reclaim of these levels. The best scenario is to wait for a reclaim of this. Then you would have a massive failed auction. You would have all these shorts stuck here for the people that got bearish at the lows. And then you would have the perfect scenario, if we get all these shorts stuck, for a nice long trade. Perhaps back above 100,000. And for example, if we can get a new all-time high, great. I don't think it's likely at this moment, but you know, it gives you a setup where you can potentially trade this much higher. All right, so that's pretty much the plan. I'm open for both. I'm gonna trade reactions. Again, if we don't get any reactions anywhere and we have that massive flush and this doesn't hold, I've talked about this before, I am expecting 67,000, 67. I think that could be, if I really have to predict, that could be the final low, where also a lot of people would get bearish. I've been speaking about this for a while. My only problem with that is that it completely breaks this structure. If we bounce here, we still kind of hold that bullish structure where we can possibly see that full reversal. If we move all the way down to 67, I feel like we're gonna have to look at something like, let me make this clear for you guys. But yeah, if you look, how can I do this? Can I hide all of this? No, let me see. What is that? There we go. Right, so you can clearly see that if we hold here, this is still fine. We still have that bullish market structure, even though it came very close to these lows, which is gonna be similar to kind of like this price action, right? So you're gonna have like that range and then drop, same thing, range, drop, and then pump. That would be nice, and I do hope that's where we put in the low, because I'm also obviously exposed on in spot. But I do think that if we get this type on the weekly time frame, we get that nice, this sucks. Then nice drop here. I think we're gonna have to look for a short a little bit higher, so we can still get that nice pump, but I think it's gonna be like some sort of scenario where then you do this, you look for the higher pump to then really take this much lower. So yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen. I kind of want to keep these lows intact, but let's see. Of course, it's possible that we bounce here, you know, Trump like cutting rates and shit with the new chairman of the Fed, that this can just start mooning. In case, let's say, for example, gold starts to have that retracement, the liquidity gets out of gold, people start looking for more discounted assets, such as Bitcoin, for example, which is very, very discounted from what we're used to seeing in the last months. If that happens, I do think it's possible that that we can get that nice bounce, even if we have that deeper retracement. I mean, to pick up some Bitcoins at 60,000, that would be pretty awesome, to be honest. I have a lot of liquidity. I've been very liquid for a long time. So for me, it would be a great opportunity, to be honest. Also to pick up some Ethereum towards that 2.4 to 2.2 that I've been talking about. And also here, I do think we have a possible trade setup coming up on Ethereum, which is going to be, let me delete this. Which is going to be this daily and monthly. Would be nice to line up with Bitcoin. And I think this is only going to play out if we bounce at 80 to 79,000. And that's going to be another failed auction here to hold the lows like that. So something like that, reclaiming, and then we do have that setup. You can take it two ways. Either you can trade the reclaim of the monthly level right here to take this up, for example, 3.7, and then putting the stop loss below the low, or you can be a little bit more conservative and wait for the full failed auction. So that means a move back above this low right here. So then you have to be a little bit more conservative. This is more likely to play out, but of course you're gonna have a wider stop loss, and of course your risk to reward is gonna decrease. But yeah, so here you would have a 1 to 7, here you would have a 1 to 3. So I hope that's clear. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much more to cover. It looks like we're gonna go for that range high now. Let me just double check. Oh, what did I do? There we go. Yeah, that's gonna come here. Okay. I'm also gonna monitor this on the order flow for you guys. But yeah, let's just wait and see if we can get that bearish reaction. Let's see if we have anything else here. And Curviva from that low. Okay, now that's the move up above these highs. We're remaining patient and see if we get that move back below. That would be the failed, the swing failure pattern, and we can have that short. So I'm not shorting now. There's no reason to short now. I want to see that move back below the anchor VWAP and below these highs. Okay. And as you guys know, if you've been watching these lives, typically this is what happens during New York. We get the nice pump, especially when the market is bearish, to put in the lower high and take this lower. So yeah, will be nice. I will be taking a short trade here. Not now. I will take it on my challenge account if we get the reaction that I want to see. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm gonna set an alert back below here. I think this is likely to happen. I honestly don't see a move all the way up to 84,000. Could you check Tau and TRX? XMR trade plan still in play? Do we have a gap at 46 on gold? Dash, please. To be honest, on gold, I don't really look at gaps. So I'm going to really quickly check these. But again, I'm not really interested in any setups. This never activated. That was if we had gotten that failed auction, which, as you can see, we never got. Right? No change in market structure, no need to take that trade. So this never activated, that was the idea, but was too weak. And I would say 200, below 200 is gonna be the next target. Do I think we can go back to 100? Possibly. But I would look first at range low here. So maybe if we can take out 200 fail auction, then yeah, we can see that pump back up. Also, again, this depends on what Bitcoin does. Can you check ETH? We already checked. 0.13, 0.16 back up to 0.1 is an unreal trade. Yeah, if we can get that trade on Pippin, would be amazing. Again, like it's unlikely to fully play out, but I think it can still be a nice pumping. A nice level to pump from, or to reverse from. All right, let's see Bitcoin. Still nothing to do. I'm gonna move back to my order flow now. By the way, I closed a deal with Atas, where hopefully I can get some license for some members. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to do my transition from EXO to Atas soon. And yeah, so anyways, here it's just shorts getting liquidated. I do kind of like this, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep monitoring here. I would like that candle close. Again, if you want to be aggressive, as usual, as I always say, you can be aggressive. The chances that you get stopped out are higher. I'm gonna be a little bit more patient, at least wait for a lower time frame market structure shift, at least wait for that move back below these highs, and then I think I'll have my short trade. Which again, if we can get some very nice small invalidation, is gonna be nice to trade this back down to here. Still gonna give us like a 1 to 6. Of course, entry is gonna be a little bit lower, or 1 to 4. That's still nice, but still for me, no trade to have right now, in my opinion. So this is not an active trade. I want to make that clear. What were we looking at? Someone wanted to look at Sui. Where's that wick on Sui? Much lower. Again, could we go back to 50 cents? Yes, we could. It's gonna take some time, if it does, and if Bitcoin only keeps dropping. If not, again, the setup was to only take this long trade if we have this type of reclaim, which at the moment we don't have. So plan remains the same. If we have this move back above now, as you can see, this is now they're auctioning for lower, but if we have that failed auction where we get that reclaim above the value area high right here, value area low, sorry, then we can have that trade. Okay, for now, nothing to do. So I would wait for a higher time frame market structure shift. By the time we get back above here, you're gonna have that change of market structure shift. You're gonna look for that back test, and here you're gonna have that trade. So either like that, but only if first we take these highs. Okay, it's not that as soon as you get back here, you take that trade. You only take the trade if first you break these highs. You have that back test. For example, let's say we go all the way there. Let's say a little bit higher. Am I on log? Okay, I don't know why I'm log. Maybe it's gonna be like a 0.382. Anyways, on a back test of this value area low, you can take that trade. Or if you want to be more conservative, wait for the reclaim of the daily level. That's my only interest on Sui. And look, no need to take that trade. Still, we are pumping. No signs of weakness. It's a short squeeze at the moment. So no need to rush into that trade. So I'm actually going to take this off my graph because I don't want new people to come in and get confused and think that I'm already in that short trade and then copy me. I am not in a short trade. But this is looking good for a nice setup to eventually take it. I want to see Sui from the also want to check XRM or XMR. I don't remember. Yeah, it was XMR because I did have a nice trade lining up. I want to see. Oh my God, look at that. Fucking hell. Okay, first of all, actually, the trade that I gave technically got filled. Technically, you got that hit, you got that close back above the anchor VWAP here. So I think that looks nice. What I don't like is that it didn't tap my weekly level. But technically, this is a valid trade. I mean, I would wait for this 4 hours to close because this could just move back down. But for now, it seems like these levels are very respected. You can see the respect here. We now took liquidity once again. If this closes above here and we can get a lower time frame market structure shift, then I will definitely consider this trade, because I've been waiting for this for a bit. And I do think it's possible that we put in the low, but optimally what I would like to see is at least the tap of the weekly level. So yeah, nothing to do for now, unfortunately. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta be patient and wait for your trades. Same thing here on Bitcoin, nothing to do. What is that alert? Neo. Ugh. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this doesn't look great on Neo. The fact that we keep pushing and can reclaim 5 is not optimal, but in a market that looks like this, I can accept it. Can you check Solana? I'm in long from 113. What do you recommend? Solana, for me, I've already talked about this. I mean, of course, if you're already long from 113, you know, you have a great risk to reward already. Maybe I would take some profit, because I think Bitcoin is still going to go lower. And this is also going to continue lower. I'm waiting for this on Solana. I'm waiting for 106, 105. That's going to be my next point of interest. And then I do have another point of interest. That's going to come towards 90. Yeah. So it's going to be a simple 77. I would say 94. That's going to be my interesting point. And if you've lost hope, you know, like seeing all these low prices, just keep in mind, like, this happened already many times. I mean, look at this. Solana was trading here at 110. We moved back up to 300. Then once again, back to 99, back to 250. I've actually sold a lot of my Solana on this run up. I sold my Solana here. I rebought here. I sold again here. I sold more here. And I'm going to be interested in buying more at 106 to 57 if we get there. So yeah, I have more of a long-term plan on this. I'm obviously not going to buy randomly. I'm going to wait for reactions, and I'm not just going to buy spot randomly. But yeah, if we get a nice reaction, for example, here, I'll trade it. If we get a nice reaction here, I'll trade it. And if we get a nice reaction here, I'll trade it with simple invalidations. Now, let me check order flow once again. Maybe this time we got some new short trades coming in. Sorry, some long trades being stuck here. But yeah, still, if you on the 5 minutes, you can see there's no weakness. Even on the 1 minute, still no weakness if you want to be really aggressive. So really zero reason to take this trade so far. So let's see. Exxon. Let's see. Now, we still nothing, honestly. Order flow, nothing crazy. Not much volume actually as well. So yeah. Sui, did it reclaim the level? Sweet. Can you check? So I just checked it. Push into 74k. Yeah, I think it's very possible. Okay, and sorry guys, but I am running out of time here. So I know I didn't look at every single project you guys sent, but I do gotta go. So let me see also here one thing. Yeah, I think this is gonna be nice for a short trade. Just need a little bit more patience. But this is gonna look good. So yeah, if I take a short trade, I will update you in the Discord. If you're still not in the Discord, you will find a link in the description of this live. So yeah, see you Monday, because tomorrow is Saturday. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned something new. Bye bye.